It's been months. We still have no name.
I know.
Well, how long can we keep calling it currently unnamed TV show?
I've written some down. I've been thinking.
What have you got?
Automates.
No.
Because it's auto,
Yeah,
like
no, I understand.
auto, but mates. What about, there's three of us, tripod.
That's someone with an erection.
Selling England by the pound.
No.
Watcher of the skies.
No.
Are these just album titles?
They're Genesis things.
No.
Hi guys, it's Vince here once again, and I'm going to be sharing with you today my thoughts on the former Top Gear trio's first new episode in the form of the Grand Tour, as well as my thoughts on how Top Gear as a whole has changed from its previous form with the three guys and where it is now. Okay, so first of all, let me just tell you, and those that don't already know, that Top Gear was actually recorded as the world's biggest TV show, probably of all time, in fact, but certainly by viewers, being officially recognised by the Guinness Book of World Records in 2012 and 2013, I believe. It was estimated, in fact, to have an estimated audience of as much as 350 million people at one point in over 100 countries. It really was a phenomenon, and it really was incredible how many people tuned in to see these three frankly quite weird guys in some respects every week to do the crazy things they did. And to put that into perspective for you, those numbers, that's like every single person in the whole of the USA and 90% of the UK tuning in to watch a TV show. Those are just absolutely absurd numbers. As such, obviously, it was a massive TV show. It really was, I guess you'd call it a British TV Institute, and it was attracting a regular viewing audience of 6 to 8 million people just alone here in the UK. So again, to put that into some form of point of reference, that's about the same as what The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones does now, probably the world's two biggest TV shows, certainly in terms of regular audience, and that's what they will do on a good night. You're looking at kind of 8 to 10 million. So with that said, what's this new show like, the Amazon's The Grand Tour? Well, I'm happy to say that if you like the old Top Gear, you're definitely going to like this one, that's for sure. It has the same ridiculous plots, explosive, fast cars, good music, and ridiculous banter that made the original show so great to begin with. And as a side note, for those of you that don't already know, Top Gear isn't actually dead. It's just, of course, changed, and it has a number of new presenters. Some of whom are quite famous. Matt LeBlanc is currently presenting alongside a few other relatively famous UK celebrities and some other people quite famous in the driving world. However, the show has fallen out of favour, certainly with the original audience, and the figures have plummeted in terms of viewership. Personally, I think there are many reasons for this. However, the one big one is definitely the rapport and the genuine sense of friendship that James, Richard, and Jeremy had as a trio. It really isn't there. That there isn't really a sense that these new guys have that experience together, and really it's not necessarily that they're not enjoying what they're doing, but that you don't have that sense of camaraderie. I always think of it with podcasts, YouTube, or any kind of filming. Certain people just have some chemistry, and you get that kind of feeling of three guys sitting around in a pub sort of vibe with some people. As an example, another show, I'm a really big fan of the Ricky Gervais show. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's really, really funny. There's a lot of banter there, and there's a lot, some of it's quite sharp and on edge, but you always get the sense, at least with this show, that Ricky, Stephen, and Carl are always having a laugh, and it's always it's good fun, and there's a real sense of camaraderie there. Now, obviously, this was always going to be difficult to replace, and unfortunately, they haven't done so just yet. Of course, with the new show, though, this is something that they've carried over, and obviously, it's absolutely pivotal to the sense of fun and just craziness that happens with the show. So that absolutely comes across. And those of you that may know a little bit more about the Grand Tour as a show, one of the things you probably have heard first of all is that the budget is now 10 times larger than it was on Top Gear with the Free Guys. So reports are bringing that out to be something within the region of £160 million, which is absolutely absurd. That's like a AAA blockbusters kind of budget, and only the kind of money these days that they would put in if they were pretty confident it was going to be a major success. Now, this is something they're not shy about showing off, with even more crazy stunts, beautiful trips to amazing places with these absurd machines, absolute top level hypercars, not just supercars but hypercars, driving along coasts. And in the first episode, which we've just seen, they drive along the coast of Portugal, and it's just your quintessential Top Gear Free Guys messing around in amazing cars and having a right laugh while doing so. So the general feeling that this increased budget gives is that it's basically Top Gear on steroids. Some people have described it as Top Gear on nitro, and it definitely feels that way. Let's not forget, by the way, that the BBC weren't exactly shy about doing big stuff on the old Top Gear with these guys. There was one particular stunt, in fact, which I'm not going to go into too much detail on now, in which unfortunately went horrendously wrong and nearly cost Richard Hammond his life. So it's not as if we were talking about casual sitting around the park kind of stuff with the old show. And in terms of the new show, the Grand Tour, those who appreciate the stereotypical British wackiness that the old show had, with the boys constantly screwing stuff up, never getting things right, winding each other up, putting car horns on, leaving stuff in each other's cars, and other ridiculous gimmicks such as the Stig, the Cool Board, and stuff like that, they won't be disappointed here, as there's plenty of new gimmicks and things that they're doing now, which are very reminiscent of what they've done before. And in fact, one of the previous producers actually jumped ship to Amazon with them. So ultimately, I'm happy to say that the show has all the banter and the great fun which should be there before, but effectively just on a much larger scale. Now, this isn't to say though that the show is perfect. While I think it's great that we stick with the old formula, and let's face it, it's tried and tested. That Top Gear ran for something like 10 years, maybe even more. I think it had 13 seasons with the trio. I did feel like they perhaps kept a little bit too close to the old formula. Obviously, the advantage of having a new show, new budget, new locations, moving this studio around, which they have, the studio is now in a tent, which they carry around rather than in one particular place in a cold factory in the UK, or I think it's a warehouse, I beg your pardon. I do think they could have played around with this a little bit more and done something just a little bit different. It's a minor point, and perhaps they'll prove me completely wrong. It looks like they've definitely got some interesting stuff lined up, but yeah, a minor aside, I would say, with that. Another minor point I would say that there was not so much disappointing, just really a little bit confusing, was that the first episode was very long. It was, speaking of that film level budget, the show is 1 hour and 10 minutes. Now, this may be just because it's the first episode that they're looking to squeeze more in and do more, and the intro itself, I remember, is also quite long. So that might be the reason for that. So ultimately, I have to say it's very positive. I'm really happy with this. Looking forward to see what they're doing with the next shows. If this particular video has a strong response, I'll definitely do more, as I do have an Amazon Prime membership, so I'll certainly be watching them anyway. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with the rest of the show, what some of these crazy things they have lined up. There's pictures of them with tanks, and I heard something about a submarine and all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, thanks for listening to me, guys. Stick around. I'll definitely love to do a few more videos on this if there's an interest. Please do leave us a like and a subscribe. Let me know what you think, if I've missed anything, or if there's something you have to say about the show. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Cheers.